Hello! Well, and good night. No worries. Go get cozy in bed. I hope you had a good day. And I hope you have a good sleep. Howdy, howdy. How's everyone else doing today? On this weird Wednesday. I know Wednesday is not a night that I normally stream on, day I normally stream on, but I want to try it out. Because I didn't have any other plans, so I figured why not. Which works for me. Swap on over. Not game capture. They used to streaming games lately. Badoo! Hello! We got Popey today. We got Popey today, because I just finished her yesterday. I drew her in a day. I was like a woman possessed to draw Pictomancer Popey. I was gonna make it really simple at first, and then I just got more and more invested, and I was like, well, I'll just add this. Well, I'll add this. Well, I should clean up this part. Well, this would look better if I did this. And then I just kind of didn't stop. Although, ironically, now that I'm looking at it, I see something that I wish I had fixed. But, oh well. That's for my personal files, because I already posted it places, and I'm not reposting it. So it is what it is. Anyway, hi. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. How's everybody doing? We're gonna try to go back to some foliage practice tonight. I was originally gonna maybe like, I knew I wanted Wednesday to be an art stream, and I was like, well, maybe I can work on the mermaid picture, and then I just kind of did that off stream. And then I started working on the Pictopopy, and I was like, well, I could use that as a stream picture, and then I just finished it. So I kind of just kept doing that. So we'll do some foliage practice, because that is something I do still want to do. And we can learn together. Maybe. Hopefully. I'm gonna try to learn. I can't dictate what you guys do. And we're gonna try to stay hydrated today because it's very, very hot. And I do not live in a house that has air conditioning or proper ventilation. So it is very, very warm up here. There's a nice breeze, but it ain't much. It's doing its best, but it ain't much. You know what, let me, Firefox capture? God, no. Well, I don't want that. I definitely just set this up earlier. I have 3 tutorials that I picked out, that I want to do. Pardon me. And so I have them pulled up and ready to go. They're all by different people, but they're all kind of like foliage practice, so I think that they'll still be good. I do have one by Elmo Rowan, which is one that I had intended on starting, and then we got interrupted. But then I have one that's just kind of like making like a bush. It's just kind of a simple like step 1 through 9, draw the thing. And then a grass tutorial. The bush one's by High End Doodles on DeviantArt, and then the grass tutorial is by No You Concept on Twitter. I will post links for all of the things that I'm looking at as I do them, so no worries. But yeah, we'll just go from tutorial to tutorial. I'm probably not going to do a warm-up also because this is inherently going to be a shorter stream because it's a Wednesday night. I can only stream for like max 3 hours, and that's about when I'm tired from work and then I have to get up tomorrow. So I don't want to waste time working on orb. These are just going to be sketchy anyway, right? Like, that's the idea of practice. So we'll just go from there. We'll figure it out. And if they look kind of janky, well, it's practice. And that's the point. Hey, bud. Hey. Oh, she dismissed me. Okay. Alright, let me get old Popey out of here. Oh, I have so many windows up now is the problem. There we go. Got rid of her. Okay. Alright. This is what I worked on last time I did some foliage practice. We did, like, little roses, right? And then we did the little blossoms. And we free-handed, like, a lavender sprig. I'm still not really happy about it, but it's practice. That's the point. And then I did a tree, in which I just sort of got carried away. That's okay. So now, we need a nice blank page. I'm gonna put on my drawing face. And Hmm. Let's do the grass one first. Let me grab those. Oh, although this is, do I have the link to the original tweet? Surely I must. Surely. Let me see if I bookmarked it. If not, I mean, their Twitter handle is in the picture, so. Oh, Louis. Singing to us. Oh no, it's right here. Okay, good. Oh. I don't like, okay, there's many things wrong with Twitter as a platform, but a change that they made maybe like a month or two ago, it feels like, you go to your bookmarks, and then you, hang on, there's words I have to lower this. But you go to your bookmarks tab, and then you click on one of your bookmark tweets, and it brings it up in like a side panel, and then you have to click again to just full screen it, and it's like, why? Why? Okay. Grab this. Okay. So here is the first one that we're gonna be doing. I'll pin it now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh. What is this? Okay. Alright, so there's the first one that we'll be doing. And I will, okay. New Louis Zong album. So I can turn it up again. Okay. No, not that one. This one? Yes, there we go. Oop. Oh, it's very large. One second, let me resize it. I have to, like, recrop it because... So strange. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, there we go. Perfect. You can't even tell. So this is what we're gonna be looking at. So I'm just gonna put it up here. Actually, I'll put it. Oh, maybe I'll put it here. Is that okay? Do you guys want it on the screen? Should I not have it on the screen? Let me know. It's not on my tablet, so I can see what I'm doing fine, but if it's maybe too cumbersome, I can just leave it in the pin, and then you guys can open and look at it at your leisure. Maybe. I don't know. One of the reasons why I need to make a new overlay, because I like this one, but I feel like there are better options that I could do. I don't know. I don't like it. We'll think about it. We'll go back and forth if we need to. Okay. So we're gonna just read this over. Oh my gosh, I click zoom and it goes in so far. Okay. Actually, we can read it together at least. Oh, yeah, because I zoomed in, so now it's all. Now it's all. Okay. Let's see. Okay, grass is affected by color perspective. Being near makes colors more vivid. How does it work? There'll be more details near, and the rest made of stains or patches. Okay. This is like a whole view that OBS is not letting me go off. It's a bit frustrating. Okay. There'll be more colors near, and the rest of made of stains or patches. So we'll have the base. Option 1 is a base color, some patches, and then add in a little bit of detail. Or option 2, can't see because OBS is being a pain in the butt. 3 layers of color. We'll just do blotches in 3 layers. Start detailing with the darker layer, and then it's kind of rinse and repeat. Okay. Okay. So we're just gonna do some blobs. We can do blobs. We'll do some blobs. I wonder if I can... Yeah, sure. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We're gonna use our... Okay. We're not gonna use that. Maybe we should use our brush. Yeah, okay, we'll use our brush. We've already got our little palette from last time. Let me... That's our little palette. I don't lose it. Well, these mostly just looks like a bunch of blurs. I think what I would normally do would be like, you know, let's not even do that. Let's do like... Oops. What? Huh? Eh? Huh? There we go. Kind of like what we do with our orbs is just blending it in gradually. Hi, Q-May. Yeah, practicing grass. How's it shaking, bacon? How are you doing on this wily Wednesday? Doing okay, just chilling, catching up on a webcomic. Nice! May I ask which comic? If you don't mind sharing the title. But I'm doing okay. Doing okay overall. Oops. I was just having a normal one, which is nice for a change. The Mafia Nanny. Hmm. I wonder if that was one that, no, maybe not. I was gonna say, like, I wonder if that was one that Scarlett was telling us about the other day, but maybe not. Maybe she was telling me about a different one. Dirt. That's good. Is it one of those, like, what are they called? Manhwas? I don't know if that's the proper term. On Webtoon, okay. Webtoon. If there are any manhwas on really get their looking sort of. Yeah, I don't know. I don't use Webtoon as much as I can get by not using it. I try not to. Some comics are just like, if that's the only place where they're found, then I will read them there, but I'm old school. I prefer comics that kind of just have their own website. But I understand that, like, you know, that's not really feasible if you're trying to get your thing out there, but I don't really like Webtoon. It hurts my old lady eyes to scroll on it. And also, as a company, they're really horrible, so... So it's not a website that I, like, sit and I will scroll through and, like, look through the categories and stuff. I'll kind of just find comics via other websites and then go from there. Why am I perfectioning this grass? What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. I usually like when they have their own websites. Or 2 comics on there. Yeah, and if a comic is hosted on either, like, Webtoons or Tapas, I'll usually defer to their Tapas website. Also because, like, I will click on a link to a comic update, and, like, they're linking to the new page or to their comic. It'll open, and then Webtoons will just shunt me to their main page anyway. And I'm like, I don't want to see your fucking main page. I want to go to the link that I clicked on. It's really genuinely annoying, and also not incredibly helpful for your users to link something to your website, and you're like, don't look at their thing that we're profiting off of. Look at all this other stuff. Like, you'd at least, like, let your links work. I don't know. I don't like Webtoons. I hate Webtoons. I didn't like them years ago when they first came out, and I was like, this is not gonna be good, and look where we are. I knew they were bad news bears from the start. But nobody asked my opinion. They're getting rid of people's, like, Patreon stuff. Yeah, I fucking hate them. I hate them so much. And I hate how they exploit their artists. and essentially they're workers. They make these really predatory contracts. I do not like it. I do not like them. And again, I mean, there's absolutely no shade to, you know, artists or writers that use them as a platform, you know, as a host. Like, I get it. But, you know. They are not good. Don't use them if you can avoid it. And also even just like, if you have your stuff on your own website, then you own it, you control it. You can do whatever you want with that website. You're not beholden to some company or like the App Store or whatever. They can't just decide like, oh hey, by the way, like we own your entire IP because you've been publishing on it. Or because we've been sponsoring you. You're always in control. Or at least to a much greater extent. Yeah. I think Tapas is kind of only moderately better. I don't think... I think there are few websites that are worse than Webtoons. But, you know. Much like many other corporations, they're just seeing who can get away with what and how much, and then they'll do it too. So I wouldn't trust Tapas as far as I can throw them either. I'm jaded like that. You know, I wonder, I try to do like a soft lighting, but I'm kind of like, maybe I should just submit. I don't really trust this how it works. Yeah. Oh god, sorry, I whacked my desk with, my tablet gun. My bad. Yeah, Hiveworks has always been kind of... And the thing is, like, I trust Hiveworks decently because they're kind of, like... It feels dumb to say, but they're kind of, like, old guard at this point. Like, they're from the days of when Smack Jeeves was, like, their competition. So they are actually made and structured by artists for artists. I think that's partially why they're still pretty good. Ugh, I miss Smack Jeeves. Gone too soon, Smack Jeeves, my beloved. Dude, I like was on Smack Jeeves all the time. Smack Jeeves was my jam. So many good comics. So many comics that are like, that started on Smack Jeeves and like are still going, I think is my favorite part about them. Yes, yeah, I think I probably had like 70 comics bookmarked. It was a little ridiculous. Also, I don't like that. Excuse me. Let me get rid of these just so I don't confuse what I'm doing. Oh, work. Yeah, I saw recently, oh god, I don't, see, now I don't remember what it's called, but it was basically like, it's basically like a cynical Pokemon, where this guy is just kind of like a jerk, and he like has to go on like a Pokemon adventure. And oh, you know what? I think it was called like Mokapon. And I know that sounds silly, but I'm pretty sure that was what it was called. And he gets like a Charmander, and I remember that was like a really big one on Smack Jeeves years ago. And I kind of forgot about it, and then I saw like I do need a Borky boat, but then I would have to draw my dogs, and I don't really like them, so I need like a generic dog marking. But yeah. And then I saw recently, I was like, that's a comic that's still going, and I was like, bro, this is, look, I mean, it was not in a slight way. I was like, bro, you're still going? That's rad. Congrats, I guess. Like, what, like 10 years later? Still going? Good on them. I mean, they've got a story that they want to tell, and they're doing it. I for sure would not have the stamina. Oops. But, you know, some people are just built different, I guess. I mean, I still read, Unsounded, which is... It was not a Smack Jeeves, webcomic, but it was just one that I started reading in, like, 2010, and it's still going. It's finishing its, first, like, book. Currently, we're on, like, the last chapter. Crazy. What comic? Oh, Unsounded. I think it's like unsoundedcomic.com. Not a comic I would recommend to everybody. It's very, very good. But touches on a lot of very heavy, serious topics. And so, you know, I do recommend it because it's very good writing, but, you know, approach with caution kind of a comic. But it is very good. I have all of her books. I remember, here's a fun, I always joke that I have, like, art teacher trauma. Here's a fun fact, is when I was in college, I think which actually almost kind of makes it worse, because it wasn't, like, my middle and high school, well, no, not my middle, my high school art teachers, hated me. And that's not me being, like, paranoid delusion, like, my one art teacher would, like, she would constantly, like, mark that I wasn't doing my homework. And I'm like, I'm doing my homeworks and I'm handing them into you just like everybody else. Why am I the only one in class getting a 0 for homework? And then you're just like, I don't know, I just never got it from you. And so I watched her one time, I like handed it in. She carried the pile of everyone else's, like, all the collected homeworks, like, to her desk, put everyone's, like, put the pile, like, on her desk, took mine off the top, and put it on a counter across the room next to the sink where, like, the counter was wet. And I'm like, there's no way you are purposely destroying my work or just throwing it out and then marking it as a 0. Like, why? To what? I don't know. They would do shit like that all the time to me. I don't know what these two ladies' problem with me was, but whatever. But I have many art teacher stories which are kind of like ridiculous. Like, there's no way this happened, and it sadly did. It surely did. But my point was that I was in college, and he had us write like who were like your top 5 favorite artists or something, right? And I put my typical like well, this was back in, like, you know, before 2010, so my phone was like literally a click clap flip phone. So their recordings were like, yeah, I know. I mean, I probably could have brought in a camera, but it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna like report her to like the principal or something, and then if she doesn't get fired, she just hates me more and makes my life even worse, you know? And then even if I got rid of her, which also, like, I don't want to get her fired. She probably should have gotten fired because she was a terrible person and a terrible teacher, but like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be responsible for that. And then on top of it, she was friends with the other art teacher who also hated me. So it was kind of like, I can get rid of one and then the other's still around and then I get tag teamed. So it was more if I just dealt with it. I would just like watch her whenever I handed in my homework, and then I would just go pick it up from whatever corner of the room she would casually, for some reason, put it in, and then just put it on her desk, and then she'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's here now. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but stop. But my college professor, like, the one art class, because I did not go to school for art, but my one, like, required art class that I took, like, a visual drawing class, he asked, like, okay, you know, who were your favorite artists and stuff, and so I put, like, you know, the typical, like, Michelangelo, which is not untrue. I mean, I do really like, you know, marble sculptures and stuff that he's made and stuff like that. And now, at this point, I would also probably have added, like, Ivazovsky and stuff, who's a Russian painter, and, you know, so on and so. So, like, I had your typical, like, safety answers, but then I also had Katie Tiedrick, who is another webcomic artist. She makes the Awkward Zombie comic that published every Monday about just like jokes about video games and stuff. And fun fact, I met her in person at a convention, and she was really cool and super nice, and that is another fun story that I have. My very brief meeting with her. Yeah, she was really cool. Her and Norin are both like super nice people. But so, like, I put her down, and then I was like, well, Ashley Cope also, who is the author and artist and so on and so forth of Unsounded, because I love her work, and I found her work. I found Unsounded from DeviantArt, years ago. I mean, years and years ago, right? I saw, like, when she would do, like, digital paintings and stuff, and, like, really just phenomenal. And there was one picture in particular that I thought of that, like, I'm like, I don't know how she feels about her old work now, obviously, right? Because this is from, like, how many years ago? Like, what, 15? But still one of my favorite, like, digital... I should just go see if I can find it. Also, grass. Grass. Yeah, is this her? Oh no, she got rid of them all. No! She cleared her. You know what, I wonder if she has her own, website. She probably does. But like, it was a very specific picture. Yes. Yes. This picture. I love this picture. It is so... It's just so beautiful. Like, I'm like... it's so beautiful. Let me pull it up in OBS. Sorry, I'll stop screaming. Like, it's so... It's phenomenal. It is truly like one of the most just gorgeous pictures. Like, it's so it's so pretty and beautiful. Timothy. Oh, Timothy. And so like when I put her down, I was thinking of like her digital illustrations. Like, not that I obviously like love her comic art as well, which is also incredible. But I was thinking of like pieces like this that really like drew me to her work at first, and then it's still just so beautiful. Just the rendering on like these flowers and stuff. Oh my god. Oh, they're so good. Really an incredible artist. And so he did not choose that picture. He did not choose one of those pictures, because what he did was he took what we had written, our artists. I wonder if I can find the one that he picked. Like, and it was a good picture, but I was like, this is not what I was thinking of. Oh my god, that's a Final Fantasy picture. Well, anyway, the point is when he, sorry, my brain, I have to turn the music. He took one artist from all of our lists and then found one of their pieces and then put it into a slideshow and showed them off to the class. And so it was like, okay, here's all of your, yeah, the sentiment was there, right? It was like, okay, here's, you know, one piece from everybody's like 5 artists, and then of course how many pieces each of those artists has made in their career, and then talking about like the different elements of them, and almost kind of like trying to reinforce, I'm sure, the students, like, this is why this student really likes this work and this artist, because they have a grasp on these different techniques, and we'll go through those techniques throughout the class and stuff. So like, not a bad concept at all. The problem is that for me, he picked Ashley Cope, and didn't pick one of her like digital illustrations or even like one of her comic pages. He instead picked a piece that was like, it was like pirates on a ship or something, and he tried to talk about like the composition of it and like how the different like lines and like the rigging and like characters' gestures and stuff all kind of like led your eye around the piece, and the staging and like the storytelling aspect of it, which I agree was there. It's a really, really good picture. I don't think it's on her website now. But the problem is that like one of the main characters, not one of the main characters, like one of like the primary characters in the picture is like tied to the mast and like shirtless, and it was just really like, I don't want this to be the piece now associated with me in front of all of these strangers for the next 4 months. Because this is not the kind of stuff it sounds bad, and it sounds like I'm being very prudish and chiding, and that's not what I'm trying to do, and that's not fair. But like, I'm a very conservative in the sense of like private and modest, and I don't, you know, like it was just very like, these people don't know me and they're gonna think that I'm into stuff that I'm not, and I was really just like, oh my god, that class, I don't think he was a bad professor by any means. I learned a lot from his class, but I don't think he liked me also. And if he did like me, he had a funny way of showing it because he embarrassed me a lot in that class. And I feel like maybe he was just trying to engage with me, but I was not in a very good place that semester, and it just did not go over well, and that was literally like the second day of class, and I was like, I want to curl up and die. Like, you know the kind of stuff that I draw, and so, which is, again, is a shame because it is a very good piece, and everything that he was describing was like really great, but like, I was like, you couldn't have picked any other picture, any other sculpture, whatever, from my list of artists. Okay. Or again, like, even her comic page. I don't know, like, again, he did pick a good picture for like the things that he was trying to explain about the picture. I think he did a very good assessment of it. It was just very like, please don't look at me. The way our teachers are, I can see it was like a situation. Yeah, he tried his best, and there are some days that I want to like just email him, be like, hey, you probably don't remember me, but sorry for being probably a terrible student, and that's why we kept clashing. But in my defense, one of my people who I thought was my best friend was just being a real dick to me all semester, and I was getting 3 hours of sleep every night. So sitting in an art class for 3 hours every Tuesday and Thursday was not really the best situation for everything else going on in my life at the time. Doesn't make it okay. But I would just, sometimes I'm like, should I apologize to this man? This poor guy who had to put up with me. Hi, Blue. Welcome in. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just practicing. I don't know how I feel about it. Grass. Oh god, there's so many layers to this grass. I guess I should probably make a new file. This was our first attempt, which was kind of nothing. I don't want to look at it. This is better. This is how just I would make grass, I think, on my own. Doing blotches is not really working for me. But not too bad. Not too bad. What's our next thing? My first ever art teacher hated my ass for like a year until I did a painting that completely— oh dang, dude. I mean, I guess it's nice that then he potentially like laid off, but you shouldn't have to earn your teachers like respect. That should just be a given, you know? Oh, I've been your senior, but saw the note of like 3 minutes after my house lost power. Oh no! Don't even worry about it. Always happy to have you, but don't even worry about it. I'm glad the power seems to be back on now. This is the next one I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna draw a bush, draw some leaves. Well, no worries. We're always happy to have you, though. Happy to see you. I'm glad the power came back. I also know that this is not like my usual time, so. I was way too talkative in his first class I took with him. He hated it. Oh my god. That's so silly, though, that it's like, that's the idea, is that your students are participating and talking and engaging, you know? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. At least in my opinion, it is. I loved it when my students would talk to me. That was the worst, to be in a class and just get radio silence back and you're like, okay. That was the worst feeling. It was my first year in college, sorry, I wanted to talk to my friends. Yeah. That was also my, that was also definitely one of the reasons why I clashed with my college professor. Is what I realize now was kind of probably a little bit of the tism that I might have. Stuff like I would, okay, sit in your same seat. Sit in your same seat every day. Every day, this is your seat. And then one day he'd just be like, okay, now you're gonna change seats. And if you're in the back, which I like to sit in the back when I was drawing because I don't like people looking over my shoulder. If you're in the back, sit in the very front with everybody behind you. And then if you're in the front, sit in the very back. And I understand the point of this was to literally give us different perspective on the object that we were drawing, whether it was figure drawing or objects or whatever. But like, it's still to this day, like even just thinking about it makes my skin crawl. Like it makes it makes me feel like I want to die. And you know, of course mentally I know like fucking nobody in that class gave a heck dang about what anyone else was doing because you're all working and also nobody cares. But I don't I'm a little bit better about it in like in normal classes. I usually like to be in the front, so then that way if like I have migraines and stuff and I need to take off my glasses, I can still see what's on the board or whatever, so I'm still like close enough. But in like a drawing setting where, which of course this seems very silly now because I'm literally streaming to on twitch.com, but like drawing was such a vulnerable thing for me that then having people behind me over my shoulder, it just for some reason activated my fight or flight response. I don't know why. It's stupid and I know it's stupid, and again, one of the things that I probably like if I were to ever apologize to this man, you're out there buddy, sorry you had to deal with me. But I was very much like, I don't want to do this. Do I seriously have to pick up your entire station? Because this was not just like pick up your little iPad or like your 8x12 notebook. We literally had like you know, like those giant, right, like plastic carriers that are like the size of a person with like your 3 sketchbooks and all your charcoal and your rulers and all that other nonsense. He did it like halfway through class. So we were all already set up, and then we had to like gather everything up and stand up and move. And it was just like, and you were sitting on those little like the horse benches, right, where they're like this. Or well, they weren't angled like that. They were angled like this, and then maybe like out a little bit. So like you sit here, and then you're drawing on the thing. So it was like navigating this room was a nightmare. I didn't want people behind me, and it was just like, ugh, I don't want to do this. It was really just, it was not good. It was not good. And it was not good because of me. I did not make it easy on this poor man. I will take onus in this situation. Because it's just crazy that when you get 3 hours of sleep, and then when you try to take a nap in your room between classes, your roommate for some reason has to bring her boyfriend over to make out, and you're just trying to sleep, and you're listening to their sloppy wet mouth sounds, even though her boyfriend is an RA and has a single, but for some reason she has to bring him back to your triple. But that's not on my art professor. That's on me and her. But it was also like, please. Please just let me draw and then go home. I'm so tired. I have to go do translation work for the next 6 hours. But by God, he still taught me. So good on him. I learned a lot from his class. I learned more from his class is like 3 to 4 months that I took in his class than I did in what, like 6 years of taking classes in middle to high school, in which I genuinely tried and put in an effort because I like art and wanted to pursue it. Man. Best teacher maybe. Do not miss college. Yeah, I miss, like, I do miss being in like an academic setting. Also, I don't really know what I'm doing. Maybe I should actually pay attention. Speaking of learning, I do miss being in an academic setting, but I don't miss not having money. I don't miss the people that I hung out with when I should have hung out with better people. I know that sounds judgmental, but I mean, like, I did not hang out with good people, in college. And I knew very good people, but they were not my primary friend group, and that was a mistake. But, you know, c'est la vie. Live and learn. You know what I don't miss about college? I don't miss the arbitrary, like, labs that I had to do for the few science classes I had to take, and then you'd have to, like, come back to class from, like, 5 to 7 p.m. and do a lab in which you don't actually do anything. You just basically do, like, math on a worksheet for 2 hours. I'm like, I don't need to be here for this. This isn't teaching me anything. I honestly miss it so much besides summer. Yeah, I do miss the setting, and I like learning, and you know, I miss some professors, and I like the structure, and so, you know, I do miss a lot of things about school in an academic setting, but there's more things about it that I don't miss, you know? I wonder if I should be using a different brush for this, frankly. So. What time do you stream? Goes to sleep. I kind of figured you went to sleep because you had a long day. Worry about it. Hi, welcome in. If I don't hear from you for like an hour, I'm like, she's taking a nap. She's eepy. She's eepy sneeby. Eepy sneeby. I'm kind of drawing this bush, but not well. Because, to be honest, I'm kind of distracted. Oh, I'll be right back. Okay, I talked to my mom real quick. You know, can I be honest with you guys? I chose Wednesday as a stream day and not the weekend because I normally sit in this room and just kind of hang out with like my friends on call and stuff, and it's like chill, it's like my private time after work. So of course it's very, very noisy tonight. I was like, really? Anyway. Yeah, it's okay. To be fair, the like dorm culture in the uni I went to was a disaster. My next year at the community college was fantastic. I feel like yeah, I feel like our dorms were pretty, you know, I don't know. I'm not a social person, so I never really got involved in like my dorm community. I just kind of like, I sleep here. I sleep here, I occasionally eat here, and I hang out and I mind my own business. Although I know that, like, there was one year where we had, like, a quad above us, and they were always so fucking noisy. Like, really genuinely, not just like, oh, like, you're in a room and you have to share a space, and, you know, like, thin walls and stuff, so it's just one of those things. No, they were, like, they were really bad. Like, our entire floor would complain about them, and the RAs would do absolutely nothing about it. But then if all of our friends were, like, over on, like, a Friday night and having, like, a movie night, and we were laughing and engaging and talking, we would get in trouble. We're like, are you joking right now? That shit I don't miss. That was ridiculous. That always made me so angry. I'm like, we are actively reporting. You come into our rooms, you hear the noise above us and how bad it is, and you're just like, yeah, you can go upstairs and ask them to quiet down. And we're like, that's your job. Like, you're getting paid to do that. Go do it. I don't miss that. That stuff made me mad. Let's see. I think never back to college, if I had to stand in front of my teachers again and then ask how my art career is going, I would actually just die. Yeah, I've thought about visiting like my old professor that I was actually genuinely really close with, but then she'd be like, "How is your Russian, Irina?" And I'd be like, "I don't speak it anymore. Sorry, I went to software." And I would be so sad. I'll probably have to go back to school at some point because I never finished. Yay, COVID, but I live in a different state now. Oh man, I'm sorry that COVID interrupted, but like, if it's something that you can do, and sometimes I'm kind of envious of like the non-traditional friends that I had when I was there, because like, you're so young when you have to go to college, and sometimes I wish I could go back now, being the person that I am now, versus the person that I was when I was there. Sometimes it's nice to go back when you kind of have yourself more figured out. You have different priorities, you know a little bit more of what you want to do. You're just in a different point in your life, you know? So I hope if you get to go back and it's something that you want to do, I hope that's the kind of experience you have. It's one where you're like, this is what I'm meant to be doing, and you can get more out of it. Even if it's a pain in the butt that COVID interrupted it, though, that sucks. Yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was just studying writing because it was a hobby. Yeah, I studied foreign languages, and I love languages and linguistics and stuff, but it's hard, right? Because it's like your experiences, good or bad, are what make you who you are. So I don't regret studying languages and meeting the people that I met and the experiences that I had, good or bad. But also, I was always meant to go into writing in like an English degree and editing and stuff, like I wanted to do way back in middle school. And I let other people stop me from doing that, and now I'm just kind of doing that anyway. And it's like, I should have just done that. I should have just done that! So I think if I were to ever go back for anything, it would be probably to just get like my master's in that. That's not really gonna happen, but if I could, it would be to do something like that. But that's also something that you can only know, 2020 hindsight. So, you know. Like, what can you do? Nowadays, I probably major in something like healthcare admin or something weird. Yeah! I regret taking the time to learn things I did. I regret collecting as much. Yeah. Yeah. I have a very complicated financial history with college. I was very, very lucky in a lot of ways, but also I was being held financially hostage in other ways. So, on one hand, I don't have student loan debt, and I'm genuinely very grateful for that. On the other hand, I literally had to pursue the degree that I was told to pursue, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to go to college, but also I had to go to college, and so if I didn't want to do that, I would have just essentially had to have been homeless. And so it was kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go do what I gotta go do. So, again, though, part of it's like, if I could do things differently, would probably be one of the things I would do differently, is just tried to handle that situation differently. And maybe I would have saved myself some heartbreak. Or maybe it would have been worse. I don't know. We just don't know. But you know what? I met some cool people in college. I did a lot of animatics way back when, for Game Grumps. Not for Game Grumps, Jesus, I was not like working for the channel. But like, I did Game Grumps animatics. I did a lot of writing. I took cool poetry classes. I did take an art class that taught me a lot of principles that I still use to this day. I met some really incredible people that even if I don't still talk to them, they enriched my life. I got back in touch with Layla here during that time period. Life's kind of funny like that. of those. It's true. Poetry was my favorite class. Yes, I loved my poetry class. It was so good. I wish I had gotten credit for it. I sure did take that fucking class and then my college screwed me out of credit for it, but I loved it when I was there. Because I went to one college, and when I went to my first college, my hashtag humble brag, my writing score on the SAT, my writing and my reading score were both so high that I actually tested into essentially like second and third year like lit classes. I'm looking at the camera and smiling. It's almost like I should have gone to school for those. So I got to skip like, you know, English 101 and stuff like that. And so while I was at my first school, I was taking higher level classes, which was great and it was fine. But then when I transferred to my new school, all they saw was the credits that I had. They didn't really, like, you have to submit your SAT scores, or at least back then, I have no idea what the product, I imagine it's the same, but like, you know, back then, you know, you have to submit your SAT scores as well as your current credits and stuff to your new school that you're transferred to. But they don't actually care about your SAT score. I don't really know why they asked for it, because even though the score was still like, you know, almost 700 or something ridiculous, I don't remember specifically what, but it was crazy high. They didn't actually care, because then all they saw was that, well, you didn't take English 101. And I'm like, but I didn't need to, I tested out of it, so can I take these higher level classes here? And when I talked to the registrar about this, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, like we can see on like your record that this is how you did this, and this class proves that, blah blah blah. So they let me take the poetry class at my new school, which was like a higher, quote-unquote higher level. I didn't get anything too involved, but it was above English 101. But then when I went to graduate, they were like, well, you never took English 101. And I'm like, I've had this fucking conversation with you before. It's because of this. And by your own admission, the fact that you let me into this poetry class, that is a higher class, that has these prerequisites, by letting me into that class, you are saying that I fulfilled those prereqs in some way. So, thus, I'm like, listen, I'm not good at math, but like, we got variable 1 plus variable b, you know, a plus b equals c here, like, and they were just like, yeah, it doesn't work that way, we don't care. I don't even think like there was a conversation, they just rejected my appeals. And I'm like, okay, so literally, I was a 5th year college student, my last semester before graduation, and I was taking an 8 a.m. English 101 class. And you wanna like, I was a very studious, like punctual, I cared about academics because I enjoyed them and they were just a priority for me. That class, I was the shows up 5 minutes late with Starbucks person. That was me, because I was like a 21-year-old or something in a class of 17 and 18-year-olds fresh out of high school at 8 in the morning. And I'm like, I so don't care. I don't belong here. I was like, I could literally show up to 2 of these classes all semester and I would still get like an A. And I think I got like a perfect 100 or something in that class because it was so absurdly like easy and repetitive. But it was just funny. It was like, I hate that shit I don't miss about college is the paperwork. I tested out of intro writing at first school, then my second school required as a prereq for every other thing, so I didn't get credit for— Yes! It's so aggravating! And it's like, like on one hand, highly recommend going to like a local or cheaper college or whatever, but I don't, you know, there's nothing wrong with community college or whatever, but like, they are often socially looked down upon. Fuck that. Don't listen to that. First of all, it's not correct, because all that matters is the education that you were getting, and if you have good teachers and a good environment and you are learning, that's what matters. But also, they do tend to be more affordable. Get your core classes done there, and then if you want to go into like some specialized school, transfer. The problem, I still recommend doing that, but just be aware that sometimes they're gonna be like, oh, you took Math 101, but you didn't take our Math 101, so we're not gonna count it. And it's stupid, and it's frustrating, but that's college, because college is run by a bunch of business people and not academics, and ooh, I feel very strongly about it. Because that's probably another field I should have gone into, is like administration for schools, but having the perspective of an educator and as a student, because they don't have that and they don't care, and it makes me so angry because you cannot run a school like a business. Yes, you need money to stay open, but if you are not teaching and you are not accessible to potential students, then you are failing your purpose as an institution. And there needs to be changed, and it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. Education should be accessible to everybody. And there is no reason for it not to be. It leads to the betterment of society, to the individual, and information should be free and accessible. And that's my stance. I'm planting my flag down. Shout out to my one college professor that I did have that was very much like, he hated this shit too. And he would just go on rants about it, and I was like, he gets it. This man gets it. Because he was such an old... I say old as if he was ancient, but he was like an older teacher, so he remembers, you know, when the college that I went to actually, you know, gave a shit about teaching, and was like, it has changed. It was very aggravating. That gets me so heated. Because it should be such a lovely, beautiful aspect of society. And yet it's mostly just a pain in the butt for people. It makes me mad! It's not fair! This is such a fluffy little bush, also. I don't think this is really the idea of this tutorial, but I'm having fun. Excuse me. This is because you had me watch Abbott Elementary, and now I'm all like, I want to talk about education and teaching. I miss it. First, my college professor that screwed me out of teaching. That's what I was like going to school for, and she's like, I don't think you are actually. Like, okay. That's probably for the best, but it should have been my choice, not hers. This bush kind of looks like a succulent. It's good. It's a good show. It's cute. It's very funny. I was about to ask something, but then I'm like, is this spoilers? Is this Abbott Elementary spoilers? Look at this bush. I can line some of these. Just as. I look like a succulent. How dare you? How dare you speak to me in such a manner? I don't like this. You know, the one thing about doing all these studies is I'm like, I don't like any of these processes. And that's not a bad thing. It's kind of reinforcing that, like, this is how I want to do this thing. Alright, because there's our little airbrush bush. But probably what I would do would be kind of what I did, in, like, my Halloween picture, which was, I just kind of, like, did a... I'm not gonna put in too much effort to this, because I'm trying to just make it white, but... Oh, also my question about Abbott Elementary. Why does Ava not want the two to be together? It seems like she's, like, not invested in anything but herself, but then it's like, I have to stop these two from being together, and I don't know why. Just curious. If there's, like, a reason that I missed, because I sort of just watch episodes sporadically. She's just- okay, so she's just a jerk. Okay, like, I mean, on one hand, she's not wrong that, like, you gotta be careful about the dating situation. I just didn't know if there was, like, a specific, event or something that I had missed. But it's just Ava being Ava, which is fair and valid for her character. Fergus on Janita annoys her. Okay, it was an in-for sub character, but she's been growing. Yeah, I do like her. I like every character on that show. I was kind of iffy about it when I first started it, but it's kind of grown on me over time. It's cute. It's fun. Okay. Yeah, that's I'm like, she's not wrong. Like, you gotta be careful about dating your coworkers, because if it goes bad, like, it's gonna go bad. You work with that person. So... But I was like, she's not doing this for altruistic reasons. That's what I was like, this is not why she's bringing this up. Because I know she doesn't care. So why? But it's just Ava being Ava. Which is fair, again, fair and valid for her character. It's just how she is. Anyway, this would probably be like how I would kind of color this plant. Actually, I would probably make this a little bit lighter. I kind of fold this, but it's fine. I'd probably make this like a little bit of a lighter green. Actually, maybe even, depending on the lighting, make it a little bit like blue. You know? So, like, I like the idea of the layering like this one, but I think for my style, I'd probably be more inclined to do something like this. The optional sparkles is interesting, though. I don't dislike that idea. Like, little sparkle highlights. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. Something to consider. FYC. Oh yeah. Something to ruminate on. Okay. Sparkles! Do I dare try to do this other tutorial? So what are we listening to? Oh, okay. We're listening to Jazz Hop Cafe, Whispers from the Meadow. This is one of their recent ones. I'm into it. Oh my god, have I? I had this person's stream open this entire time. I sure have. Oh, close that. Okay. I'm with it. Yeah, it's good. So I was like, I don't recognize this, but my stream playlist is quote-unquote curated So I was like, I know it's gonna be something I like. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave you guys with the tunes. I gotta pee. So let's all take a little piss break. And then we'll do this next tutorial, which is kind of a bigger one anyway, so. Yeah, okay. I'll be right back. I'll leave you guys with the tunes. Here. Hello, I'm back. Did you guys also go piss, girl? Did you stretch? Did you hydrate? Did you take your meds? Get a snacky? Ooh, I should put snacky in my little BRB reminder. We're back. Okay, I copy this link. Where does it lead me to? Well, I don't want that. I would like the original post, please. Copy link. Why does it do this? There we go. Okay. We're gonna follow this foliage guide now. It's only part 1, but that's okay. Kind of look through it. We'll see how far we get into it. And then maybe we'll work on something else after. Work. Let's see. You know, if it's kind of opening up in a slideshow, maybe this one I can share on the screen. Yeah. Kind of like a nice, like, Ghibli. Oh, it literally says Ghibli Lo-Fi Mix. Okay, well that would do it. It's kind of Ghibli inspired. It's nice. It's all the joy of a Ghibli soundtrack without the copyright strikes, which I'm always down to clown with, personally. Look at that. Fits perfectly. Can't even tell the difference. Okay. Reference photo to chibi-fied flower. That's what we want. Want to learn how to simplify things. This is part 1 of 3. Translating any reference picture into a chibified version of the flower. Multiple entries, step-by-step guide, selected flowers, which we kind of technically did first. But that's okay. Part 3 would be background foliage of non-specific plants. Okay. Okay, this cover process, how I and my art style cheapify flowers. Choosing the best photo references, notes what part of the photo reference are interesting. Understanding a flower in 3D space, overview of popular shapes and flowers, analyzing chosen reference in order to simplify the flower. Example of chibifying a flower of choice. Like a forget-me-not. Okay. Goddamn it, partner will be home soon. Well, thanks for stopping by! And I hope you and your partner have a lovely evening. And yeah, and if I don't see you around, have a good rest of your week as well. Take care. Actually, speaking of hydrate, I'm gonna take a sip. Disclaimer, this is her art style, not for sale. She uses clip, but we're gonna use Procreate, which is fine. I'm using it as a custom one. Okay. In general, the process of turning any subject into chibi, at least for my style, is focused on making all features of it into a more rounded, softer version. Just how proportions change when turning a character into a chibi and chibifying flowers, the same will take place. The same will take place when chibifying a flower or any other subject. It works for animals and objects as well. In this case, I will focus on simplifying the structure, making focus points bigger, flower heads in most cases, and rounding up sharper edges and angles that we might encounter. For chibis in my style, it's important to say stop at some point and not overdo details. This is what I get into trouble with. Good way to stay in check is to set for yourself a minimum brush size and not go under it. That's what I always get into trouble with, is I want the image to be clear, but then I feel like I overdo it, and then it's like, well, at this point, why don't I just use realistic proportions, and it doesn't look right with everything else I'm drawing. What to look for in a reference photo? Petals, how many are there? Are they oh, I feel like also... Oh, okay, no, it's kind of even the size. Okay. Are they placed symmetrically? Are all of them the same shape? What shape are they? Are they touching or overlapping? The center. How big is it? Is it bulging out or in? Are there pistil and or stamens visible? Flower butt. Receptacle. Is it visible enough to take note of? How big or long is it? Sepals. Are they present? How many? How big are they? Stem. How thick is it? Is it stern or slender and weak? What are the stem on the Where on the stem are the flowers located? Where are the leaves? Is it singular or does it branch out? Leaves. What shape are they? Are they placed in a symmetrical manner on the stem? Yep. General. What shape the flower head is? How big is it in relation to leaves? What parts of the plant made you identify it from all other plants? This is what we'll be focusing on in chibifying process of the flower. Okay. To find all these elements and properly understand how the flower of your choice behaves and looks in 3D space in its natural glory, you might need to use multiple references. Don't stop at just one photo. The first one, it doesn't tell us much on how the flower behaves in groups or how the leaves look. If you're going to just draw the flower itself from the front, it's good. What we're focusing on here is a flower as a whole plant. Using multiple photo references can give you a better understanding on the plant as a whole. In some cases, it's easy to recognize a flower by just the blooming part, but for others it might not be enough. The more references you use, the better understanding of the flower you will have. Please note this system isn't perfect or even the right way to do it, it's just how I approach, okay? Let's go through some of the possible things I noticed so far when drawing flowers, the basic options, if you will, but please remember that the world is full of wonderful foliage I definitely don't take into consideration. Round, elongated, pointy, heart-like, or shovel. Okay. For the petals, leaves can be oval, round, linear, rhomboid, elliptical, heart-shaped, pinnate, palmate. Notice how my drawings aren't really as detailed as the real-life pictures. I heavily simplify what the photos show and rounded all the harsh edges and angles quite a bit. This gives the plants a much cuter look. Chibis, this process is taken even further in my style. General shape is now just a suggestion or idea. All shapes have been heavily exaggerated. Chunky leaves. Raising the line of overlapping creates squishy feeling. Okay. Thicker stem because I don't really like drawing single line stems unless to show they are very thin and fragile. Okay. Just like in this example, all kinds of flowers, leaves, and objects can be easily translated into their chibi form. In my style, I'm aiming for chunky, soft, squishy. Focusing on too many details can end up in a very messy drawing. For chibis, using bigger items can be a good way of showing how tiny and pocket-sized the characters are. A very good example of this is Animal Crossing art style, which is a big inspiration for me among other styles. All the items characters in the game interact with are not only sized down versions of normal size items, but each element of them separately is chibified. The stem. How thick is it? How does it branch out? There are many ways the stems might look like. It's very important to take note of those. Drawing a sunflower on a very thin stem or a baby's breath on a thick one might make the flower not recognizable anymore, which is 100% fine unless you're aiming to for example, use flower language as simple with your illustration, or you want to draw a real flower. Okay. I'm looking. Looks like most of the flower types can be easily drawn on some dish. Oh yeah, I remember seeing this. This was such a smart idea. It might sound weird, but please take a look. This technique helps me a lot with understanding how a flower looks from many angles. For example, a flat flower, like a daisy, is well represented by a plate. Using a plate as a 3D model will make it very easy to visualize how a daisy would look from different angles. It's possible with many more dishes, but from my observation, most flowers can be classified as plate, bowl, reverse bowl, vase, or a corn dog. I'm going to classify them in this or similar way as next parts with step-by-step example guides roll out. Here's some examples for WoW. A vase is a thistle, a bowl is a cherry blossom, a reverse bowl is a carnation. Most of the elements summed up, it's time to test it all. Let's use forget-me-nots as an example. In future parts of the tutorial, I'm going to bring more step-by-step style of examples for many different flowers. This one is just to show you how I tackle chibifying a flower as a process. Reference identification. Shape of the flower head is a plate. Leaves are very small and elongated. Stem is rather thin. Flowers branch out of it asymmetrically. At the end of each stem, there are more flowers as well as tiny flower buds. Flowers have 5 petals each and a small center with tiny triangles between each petal. From personal experience, the first thing I recognize these flowers by is their distinct color. This is a general silhouette of this flower, a little stylized to work for my style. I'm not going for realism here, but still this is far too real to be considered chibified. A great way to solve it, shorten it and liquefy. Huh. The same logic as when chibifying a character apply here. Make it shorter and exaggerate the focus, cuteness points. In a character, it's the eyes, and flowers, it's the flower heads. Huh. Interesting. I don't dislike that. It's just it would not have ever occurred to me. That's an interesting way of doing it. Okay, I'm gonna read through these and then we'll put it away and actually try to follow along. On the guide sketch, I put on the plate shapes. They are easy for me to sketch out, but if these were more comples, for example vases, I might use 3D models to make the shapes more accurate in space. Next, I place lines that will run between the petals. This guideline is very helpful if you want to keep all the petals roughly in the same spacing. Okay. I remember that from the Blossom tutorial. The inside of the flowers, I decided to not draw the center in full. The reason is if I draw a circle for the center and then add the little triangles, the whole thing will become very cluttered. Instead, I just drew the triangles. They look more like half circles because I'm avoiding sharp angles. Also overlap, I tend to do this instead. But kind of removing and almost leaving like suggested lines. In the star, it says, it looks like it was blown up like a balloon. The same applied to all chibified items. Okay, I added some leaves and the thin stem, but somehow it still doesn't look chibi enough. Solution is simple. Less empty spaces and maybe more liquefy. Let's try. I mean, it looks pretty cute, but I guess she wants like super cutesy. Before, hello creature. Overlaid before after. Okay. So she kind of like bloated the flowers a little bit to round them out more. The changes I made are minimal. I removed some unnecessary lines between the petals, rounded petals up quite a bit like pumping up a balloon, and thickened the lines up a bit on the flower edges. This way, I managed to fill up some empty spaces between the flowers. The remaining spaces can be filled in coloring process. Okay, I see. Funny. Flat colors. I used a slight variety of similar colors. In the reference pictures, I noticed how violet and pink hue tends to accumulate at the ends of the stem. Okay. I colored the liner. If you would like to learn to do it myself, please see the free tutorial. At the very end, I filled all the empty spaces with a blob of color behind the flower. It's to suggest that there are more flowers behind, but I don't do it always. Okay. I kind of see what I'm picking up what she's putting down. Okay. Mallow, you're like a little piece of rigatoni pasta. Did you know that? Hmm? Did you know that? Little creature. Little creature. Alright, get out of here. So, whoa. She did not like that. Whoa, 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 baby. Don't go right the other way. Don't fall. That would not be good. Alright. So, let us try to kind of follow along with this little tutorial and just see where it gets us, you know? You know? Put it back up for me. Let me do this for myself so that I can look at them a little bit bigger. Yeah. I'm just gonna go, like, start to finish, kind of like she did. So she first drew... Well, that's kind of too small. Okay. I have a lighter brown. We'll go with a lighter brown. So she first drew this, because I want to try this little liquefy thing that she did. That's very interesting to me. The leaves are kind of like this shape. They're asymmetrical. Okay. And there's a branch off here that has a leaf. Leaf here. I might even just shrink it, just for the sake of having room. Kind of a big shape there. I like this idea of working based off of like a silhouette to just kind of get the general shape. It kind of reminds me of like color blocking, which is a good thing to do when you're planning position of a piece. I say not as an expert because I'm very bad at composition, but as somebody who is learning it, seems to be what I'm learning, is that helps. When I do that, I'm definitely happier with my compositions and on pieces when I don't do it. So maybe it'll help you too. Or maybe you already know to do it. Okay. So that's kind of the starter silhouette. And then she's going to like... She kind of like scrunches it. Oh. It's kind of like distorts it. But... Scrunchy. And then uses the liquefy tool, which we do have, don't we? I thought that Procreate does have it. It's just... okay, it's down here. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've used it before. I would imagine... Oh, okay. Maybe I should use just a smaller brush. kind of wibbly, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It's been so long since I've used the liquefy tool. For sure, not one of my go-tos. Not a bad tool, though. Maybe I should use it more often for stuff like this. Okay. Flowers are never perfect, so wibbly is good. Yeah! This is kind of a nice way of, like, you know, inflating a silhouette. Fill in those extra spaces. Okay. Alright, so this is our new silhouette. Oh, she even almost kind of did it, like, way more than I did. So maybe I can be a little bit generous. You know what's funny is, a lot of this tutorial is based on, like, kind of, whoa, it's kind of like chibi-fying flowers, right? Like, that's the point. And so to do that, kind of like taking your existing proportions and then bubbling them out. I feel like I kind of do the opposite, when I draw, is like, I always end up having to, like, shrink the head. I make, like, really big heads, and then I have to shrink them back down into, like, human proportions. Or not even, like, human proportions, but just, like, more manageable ones. Kind of funny. Okay, I like that. It's not quite as exaggerated as she did, but I like this. Also, do I still have my thinking face? No, no, okay. Sometimes I forget what little face I have on. Okay. Okay, so then reduce the opacity. That's so hard. Sometimes I like the really, like, bloated head, right? Because it can be cute. But then other times it's like, oh, maybe this is too much. maybe science has gone too far. I'm gonna use my inking brush, I think. Yeah. Okay. So she kind of, on the plate sheets. Easy for me to sketch out. I use their model. Okay, so she just kind of does the, like... kind of just does, like, the outlines. These ones are kind of almost, like, flattened a little bit. I'm just gonna do it, and I can always erase. This is just the little lines anyway. And she kind of like adds. Oh, right. Okay. That was the whole kit and caboodle. It was a tanker too. Okay. How I want these to overlap. I don't want this one to be in front. Actually, I should do that. And then I want this one because I want them to overlap. This. think the rest of them kind of have overlapped naturally. Okay, and then center points. I should do more little end blossoms. I kind of want to put some here. How about that? I can just do that. Okay. And then kind of lighter blue. Let me zoom in for myself real quick. Oh, wow, that's so much easier to look at. Wow, imagine. It is 5, right? Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna go all the way to the center for my own sake. Okay. Alright, so got our little guidelines. We just do the dang thing. Wait. Yes, I am gonna use a black. Okay, so the center forget-me-nots, yeah, are kind of like a little star shape. Actually, let me... Open, oh no, not open link, open image. Get some reference images of my own. Okay. Interesting. She just kind of star. And the point of each star goes to... matches up with like the tip of the flower. Actually not what she does, but... ah, I see how she's simplifying it. Okay. Okay, what do these look like? The petals kind of look like that kind of a shape. She has them very simplified. Some of them have like a little notch. Interesting. And they do overlap, actually. Kind of like a spiral pattern, they overlap. They almost kind of go like this. Some of them have like a little notch and others don't. I wonder if it's just how they grow. Get some other one. Interesting. Some of them don't, but then some of them do. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. You know, this is the part that gave me trouble with my little blossoms too, and then that turned out okay, so I just need to trust the process. Trust. Trust is spelled trust. We did it. We drew one little flower. I know that she doesn't do this, but I kind of want to. I don't think that looks too busy. Maybe if this was like a super, super small flower, right? Like, I wouldn't bother. I would just maybe do that, but I think we have enough room to do this, and it's fine. Ooh, tomorrow's Thursday. You know what that means. New Dungeon Meshi. Paper Mario remake comes out. And a third thing that I am forgetting that I feel like also happens on Thursdays. What else happens on Thursday? I feel like something else airs on a Thursday. Think of tomorrow. I know, Mithrin! It's my baby boy. He's my favorite. This is a no spoiler zone, but Mithrin's my favorite. And I know he's gonna captivate audiences everywhere. But he's my baby boy. Oh my god, it's your birthday. I'm gonna be so real with you, that was 100% the third thing, and my brain was like in the media tab of my memory banks, and that's why it was not thinking of. It's your birthday, that's the fucking third thing. Do you remember when we were talking about college earlier, and I was like, one of our favorite things about college is that we reconnected and became best friends again. And my stupid ass is like, what's this other thing that's happening tomorrow? It's your birthday, Jesus! Christ. Embarrassing. It's not just a day, it's your birthday. It's the day you burst from the womb. See, and this happened with Phil's little, like, housewarming thing, is I sent him, gift cards, because, for Home Depot, which I was like, I think even, like, when I sent it to him, I was like, I know that this is not, like, the most glamorous gift, but I'm like, if you're moving into, like, a new house, if you need to, like, renovate anything, or you want to paint something, or get appliances, or you just need light bulbs or something, right? Like, here's just gift cards to get whatever you need when you need it. And instead of me, like, getting you, like, a tool set or something that, like, you have, like, 5 other ones, here's just, like, get, like, your own thing. Like, whatever you need. And he was like, no, like, this is perfect, thank you. But I was still, like, but I have to get him something fun also. And now I'm, like, the same thing with your birthdays. I'm like, I got you stuff in advance, and it got there, what, like, yesterday? And so I'm like, okay, like, she got her gifts. But then now that the day is tomorrow, I'm like, I have to give her something tomorrow, too. Like, I have to. My friends, they have to know. They have to know that I love them. So, you know, things we miss from college. I miss being near my friends. I miss being in physical proximity to my friends. And then it's like, I could just hand you the gift. And then I could be mortified at the process of handing you a gift and you opening it in front of me. I want that to overlap. I think I want this little one to be. Oh my god. We are the same type of neurotic in many ways. We're opposites in so many ways, and then also the same person in so many ways. And that's friendship. Ah! Scratch myself. I'll always think about those two houses. And one's like all black, and the other's like pink and purple next to each other, and it's like, that's us. Hmm. Well, these are kind of like at an angle. Yeah. Oh, is your Magnus Protocol still releasing new episodes? I don't know how many were, like, in the new, because I know that that also was, like, airing on, like, a Thursday sort of a thing. And I didn't know if, like, taking a break or if it finished, or... Oh my god, I feel like I've been focusing for 8 years and I've only drawn, like, 5 flowers. The pain of drawing something unfamiliar. That's how long it takes. That's the power of, muscle memory. that you don't realize you have until you draw something unfamiliar, and then you're like, oh my god, this is taking me forever. Where did all my power go? I know I keep making new layers for each flower, but it's just... If it's on its own layer, then I know I'm safe to just kind of draw my lines however I need to. I'm using a digital medium. I might as well take advantage of its resources and tools. And one of those things is layers. In case in point, I feel like maybe I kind of want this under. That's cute. Oh, okay, that's that stem. Well, let me do these. Kinda has them like cute little heart shape. I quite like. Oh, I see. Breaks up. Excuse me. Pardon me. that's one sprig down. You know, what's funny is I'm doing all this and then she technically even floats it a little more. Ugh, because there's too many spaces. That's okay. We're just gonna focus on this. I don't really want these to be super chibi, because if I wanted to do that, I feel like then I could just do, like, you know, like clusters. It's kind of not really what I'm trying to do. I do want them to be like a mix of chibied and simplified, but you know, if I draw like a whole character next to this, I want the two styles and level of detail to mesh to some degree. So if the flowers are super chibi and overly simplified, then that won't really look as good next to a character that maybe is, you know, chibi, but still has a level of detail. I don't know if that makes sense, but in my brain it does. I kind of want these to be kind of like mixed, overlapping, you know? Yeah. Add a nice little extra flavor of depth. They're actually slotted together. We're getting there. Almost done. much empty space, right? Some of these we can squish in. Why don't we just do that? I don't mind leaving some space, but you know, a little something. A little tidying up, so to speak. Oh, okay. Thin stem. Okay, she just does like a thin stem. A-okay with me. You know what, Kimmy's right. Plants are wibbly. We'll keep ours wibbly. She does just like a thin line stem in this tutorial, but I think I'm gonna give a little bit of thickness to it. Still thin, but I feel like since mine is not quite as super simplified as hers is in its original tutorial. Already taken liberties. Might as well. And then the leaves. It's also kind of... I do come to a single point, though. Okay. I think that's okay. Let me look at my little forget-me-not. Of the leaves, though. Well, they do kind of have a line down the middle of their leaf. I think I'd be okay doing it. Oh. Okay, I was like, is that the end of my playlist? It shouldn't be. Nope, we're good. Okay. Let's see. Control the name down. Okay. There is a lot of empty space, but she filled in some of these spots with leaves. Like that. Smart thinking. Oh, also I do need to do these little... Ah, okay, I see. Here she like put a little leaf. I want them to just be chest filler though. Put one like over here. see, like... Not really belongs there anymore. Okay, I think we can make this work. So, ooh, I gotta unshrimp. I must unshrimp. Let's see. Okay, flat colors. We'll get our little silhouette out of the way. Oh, to be honest, this is kind of... Oh, you know what? Since this is just a little practice, we can maybe cheese it just a little bit, you know? So the main flowers are kind of like that. Oh, some of them are a little darker. Okay, but this needs to be brighter. Fill in the gaps that might be here. Okay, and then I'll probably merge these down, but little buds are a nice lavender. And then the others are like a pink. You know, pink. Whoa. Oops. The last few are this more purple. This nice yellow. And I've already done it. I need to practice doing this more in general, of like looking at an image, whether it's a reference or what, well, a reference image, and blocking out the shapes. It's one of those things that, like, I know you kind of should do and is good, you know, practice for just getting the general silhouette down and learning how things line up and so on and so forth. I never do it. Or that's not true. I don't do it as regularly as I should. And I should get into the habit of doing it more often. Because it is a very good skill to hone, and it's a good thing to do. In general. I mostly do it when I'm doing, like, figure studies or something. Because then I'm sitting and I'm taking the time to really look at a pose and how everything lines up and stuff, but I should do it more regularly. Yeah, I like that. Get a darker orange for the darker ones, but that's okay. Yeah. And then we'll go underneath and get this. Enhance. I think I do like that, but it just needs to be much lighter. Oops. Nyum. Nyum. Ah. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Okay. My iPad was like, I don't think so. I don't think you are going to zoom in. I was frightened for a moment. Oh, okay, and then... Coming out so pretty. Yeah, thank you! Yeah, I like how they're coming out so far. I was afeared, but... Not too bad. Too bad. Alright, I'm probably gonna have to adjust this leaf color, but that's okay. Oh wait, actually. What am I doing? my frog got? Let me look. I'm pretty sure the stems are also green. Correct? Yes, they are. Okay. So I can just... Ah! Why did that happen? Okay. Prograde was just having a moment. I see that little dot over there also. Get to it in a memento. Okay. Okay. Sure, gonna adjust this green. Because the leaves are not really this, like, lime. Although I do like a lighter green. Go with the light blue, indigos and stuff. The periwinkle, if you will. But still. Although, kind of just desaturating them a little bit looks nice. Okay, that's nice. And these ones that are in here will kind of darken. Taste and peace. Probably how I would do this with like the bends. Okay, and then yes, I'm gonna fill in like this, but kind of like a folder. I like this. This is a very handy trick of kind of doing like the silhouette behind it to imply a fullness. And also just in general to like imply other flowers in the bunch. Not just like a blob, but actually like doing other, like the petal shape and stuff. That's a trick I definitely need to use more. Like my backgrounds and stuff. Is good. Very handy. I think I would like to just... First of all, because I love me some good colored line art, and I think it'll look cute. She kind of does it a little bit for like the interior, but I'll do for the whole thing. Gives it that fruit gummy look. I like. There is a trick to doing color line art where you like take your flats, you duplicate the layer, and then you do like a Gaussian blur and potentially like double that up if you need to, and then flip it to your line art layer and set it to like multiply or something. But I kind of just like doing it by hand. But it is a very like handy way of doing it. If you... Pro tip. I can show you in a second, I just want... I think I did it for the Popeepa picture. I did for her paint is I set it to I think I set it to hard light instead of multiply, but same principle. Since it was like, you know, rainbow streaks. So instead of me doing this by hand for like all, what, 7 to 8 colors that were on the paint streak, I just kind of shorthanded it and then used a hard light so it was a nice bold outline. Oh, right. Okay, so basically kind of what you do is, well, I don't want to apply these, but say, like, for these, right? I would glossy and blur it. I like to duplicate it because it gets kind of like washed out a little bit. And then you would do like a multiple. I kind of usually like to do like a soft light or maybe I didn't do hard light. What did I do? Maybe I did vivid light actually for the paint. Yeah, vivid light. So you don't really have to do it by hand. It kind of like will fill it in for you. Can be very handy. And then you can just like clean up from there if you really want. Soft light's good too. But I kind of just like to do it by hand. I'm just like that. It kind of gives me a little bit more control over the colors actually will end up looking like. And then especially like if some colors don't really translate as well and they need to be lighter or darker or just shifted instead of then having to do it by hand anyway, just kind of on its own layer. So like this pink is too light. Do that real quick. Easy. It just works. Why is that so big? I'll probably merge all these in a second. Actually. I do want to, let me look at my little actual reference photo. Okay. I just like doing this. A soft little thing. But since I'm not fully shading them. Just a little something something. Oh, I just remembered I'm using my hard airbrush. Oh well. That's okay. Okay. I want to be real fancy. Okay. And there you have it. Ugh. Yeah, maybe I'll just leave. This is a nice here. Later. There we go. And then we got forget-me-nots. To be honest. Or should we just leave it? Yeah, just leave it. I'm fine. Okay. Well, forget-me-nots. Not too bad. It's not a perfect one-to-one to her little tutorial, but it's nice to practice just like laying down the shapes. Kind of similar to our little Cherry Blossom one. You know? It's yours, yeah! Yeah, very, very stylized. But that's okay, because that's the point. Whew. Not too bad. And just in time for 10 o'clock. Wow. Look at that. There we go. So we kind of practiced some grass. And then we did a little bush. And then we did some forget-me-nots. That's how you do it. Just, you know, some practice. It's always good to practice. Ugh. Also, very good to stretch, which is what I need to do, because I have been shrimped for like the past hour straight. Wowie zowie. Thanks! Yeah, I like how these came out. This was nice. Every little bit of practice helps. Only me. Ooh. But it also does kind of reinforce. I should do trees next. See how people kind of block those out. Like shape-wise and silhouettes and stuff. But honestly, even just the principles that she kind of lays out in this tutorial about like doing a silhouette and then, you know, adjusting from there. And then laying down your guidelines and then adjusting more if you need to. I feel like it could be applied to trees and such and all other kinds of flowers, so good, what else I'm looking for? Good, like a foundational exercise. Oh, okay. Let us, it is almost 10 o'clock. So let's see who streams on a Wednesday night. I don't normally stream, at this time. So let's see. Anybody doing art? There are a few people doing art. Let's see. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, I think it should be okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let us go and raid. Right. Oh, different face. Let's go raid Carson Druitt, who we have raided once before. He is an artist and he does like visual design for games, game development, and stuff like that. He will sometimes draw like really spooky but really cool like creatures and monsters and stuff. He's right now, it says drawing more bitey things, but it looks like he's kind of talking about like show development. Oh, he's getting rid of the notes. But we'll go see. We'll go say hi because Carson's really cool, fantastic artist. Yeah. Okay. Thanks guys for hanging out. We'll use the little, there we go. Or I'm gonna use I'm gonna use a little chair because I like the chair. I wonder if I should like make it a command. Why can't I spell? Why? Anyway. Okay. Yeah. Thanks guys for hanging out. Thanks for chit-chatting with me about heavy educational topics, but also just chit-chatting about silly stuff too. I'll see if maybe if like Wednesday continues to be okay, so we'll shift from like maybe Sunday mornings, Monday night's game night, and then Wednesday maybe art. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, thanks guys for hanging out, and I'll see some of you guys later. And everyone else, if I don't see you, have a good week, and have a good night, and take care. I'll see you guys around. Go be nice to Carson. Go say hi. Go drop your favorite emote, or just go lurk. Go check out his art. He's cool. Alright. Bye guys.